Hello, everybody. My name is Asan Doumbia. I'm going to talk about communication. As a leader, as a supervisor, as a manager in your team, you have to have a good communication with your team. And my aim here is to show the emphasis and the importance of good communication towards to you, the leader, or the chairman or the president of any organizations. Then I will explain or outline the different types of communications, yeah, which are verbals and non-verbal, written and visual. Then I'm going to outline the importance of image and impressions, right? You as a leader, as a chairman or a president or a supervisor in any areas of life, you should have the ability to listen. I'm going to explain 4 points. The first point, a leader, you should have the ability to listen actively, right? So you understand what people are saying and what they want and how they want it to be done. Then point number two, you have to emphasize, not sympathize. So you have to do the right action, not to sympathize or have emotional feeling. You have to face in the fact and logic in judging situation, right? Then point number three, you have to ensure that the two-way communication is achieved. That is, they have to two people, your staffs or your management or your ministry, then your client, they should understand each other and meet in the equitable, right? Then um, point number four is to make the staffs and the clients feel at ease, right? You have to explain to people or your client or your subordinate how to speak to each other in a polite manner, because polite is the more important thing here, because without polite it will lead to conflicts. Then in talking about communication, communication is a two-way process between the sender and the receiver, right? That is, communication is a two-way process between the sender and the receiver. Then I'm going to talk about the four components of communication. But first of all, what is communication? Communication is the means by which information is being transmitted from one person to another through verbal or sign or symbol to another person. That is communication. I'm going to talk about four components of communication. You have the first component, which is transmission, right? You have to transmit your information to someone, whether through radios or verbally, face to face, or non-verbal. That is number one. Then I will have to talk about number two, which is receptions. Reception, how people they perceive your information, how people they perceive. Okay. Then number three, talk about understanding. Understanding is how they can understand. That is the third component. Then the fourth component is the feedback. That when they understand your message, then they will give response. That is feedback. So the four components, you have transmission, which is one, you have reception, which is two, you have understanding, which is three, then you have feedback, which is four, right? Then talking about the type of communication. Type of communication, you have verbal communication. You have four type. You have the verbal communication, you have non-verbal communication, you have writing communication, and you have visual communication. Verbal communication, what is verbal communication? Is by speaking word to word to each other. Then non-verbal communication is something referred to as a body movement, that is the sign and symbol or the action, that is non-verbal. Then written is where you write with pen or any other means, but for now we have computer electronics. It's very simple. You can even speak a word, a computer can write for you. So that is another means of communication. Then the fourth one is visual. Visual is what we see and how we report it, right? You see somebody sitting in a very calm way, and you assume the way you see somebody, you or someone, you just assume that this is the person's situation. Then I'm going to talk about communication. You have the percentage of communication. This verbal, non-verbal, and written and visual. You have a percentage in this world. What percentage they use for communication? Like non-verbal communication, it has 55%. 55% of our communication is non-verbal communication. That is wherein you use the sign, symbol, or action or body movement. Then number two is the tone, which is 38%. 38% of people is the tone. The tone, the way you speak, the voice, the sound that come out. Then we only use 7%, which is the language. So in total, all we have 100%. So body movement, we have 55% of body movement in our speaking. Then tone, we have 38%, which is number two. And we have words like language, which is only 7%. So basically, in communication, you as a leader, you should always try to be audible in your communication with each other, with your people. You understand, with your community, with your team. You have to be audible and transparent to them, and you have to always be in a polite way so that they will be able to understand what you are saying, because communication in every area is more important. It's like transparency, right? People will understand your plain blank. So I'm going to stop here in communication. And basically communication means is the transformation or the transmission of information from one person to another through signs and symbol. I stop here, and I'm going to, in my next video, I'm going to talk about other topic. Just subscribe to my channel for more important information in social life. I'm just doing this one so at least to express my ideas and my experience to other people. Thank you all.